live?
We're live.
Yes, sir.
We're
You on
live.
mute. You on mute.
Dave, you're muted.
Come on,
Yeah.
Dave.
Good to see you too, David.
Okay. Why is my screen black? There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
What's up?
Now Thoro
What's up,
disappeared.
everyone? All right. Let me get into the comment. You know what? You can never get used to this, man. I swear to God. I don't know how you guys do this week in, week out. Fucking do this thing because I do this only once a month and I still struggle with this shit.
That's why.
All right, guys, we got some really cool member in the house. We got some people from the East meets West. We got Gomez, the comic collector, and also we got the Joker M23.
23.
Bang, bang.
Wow. Yes. Welcome.
Joker-
Welcome to my show. I'm gonna get your name wrong too. How about that?
Oh, wait. And we got and Thoro. Hey man, I think this is the first time you ever been in my show. Thanks for being on.
Nah, man, glad to be here, brother. Appreciate the
Yeah.
invite, man. Some good topics, yo. I'm ready for the talk.
All right. So we also
Stay
got
here.
Kingdom Comics. He's the Mr. Drama. He's like to search that up with other IG people.
Oh man.
And also we got Epicurean Eye Relief. He loves to show his handgun, but not in this show. So if you want to get some quick tip about
Bang, bang.
about self defense and cheap buys and stuff on handguns, go check him out. All right. So guys, how you guys been?
Good.
Great.
Lovely.
Great.
Awesome,
Yes,
bro.
man. Yeah, man. Look at you with a Spider-Man hat. Now,
Yeah, man. It's my
See you.
man. My man,
go.
right here.
Yeah, we're doing good over
All
here,
right,
man.
We got Freddy's in the house joining us.
I was about to say, where is Freddy's?
What's up, fellas? How's
Yeah,
everything
he's
going?
in. He's in.
Good,
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 man.
good.
Yeah. Yo, Martian, Comic Hunter, I send you the links to your email, so check your email so you can be on this panel because I paid $25 to get you all asses on this show at once, man.
I was about to say, you got more than 6 people on. You
Yeah,
paid.
we
I'm
got
proud of you.
Jesus on today. Is that Jesus right there next to me?
Hey, this
Some
Asian knows
Kingdom
how to spend
Comics?
money with his time, man.
What's up, fellas?
Yo, what up?
Yo,
man?
what's good, man?
Turn the camera back off. Turn it off.
Not that bad. I just showered, man. Come on now.
Oh, man.
All right, so the Doom 143 can't be with us tonight because he's on the Big Island with his wife having some little vacay.
You on vacay,
So I'm
baby.
sure his spirits will be with us tonight. All right, so let me do some short shout outs. So we got the Martian Comic Hunter. We got Sid Lowly, part of the captain of the Spine Ticks. What up? Along with All About Comics, we got Salsa 23, Hazel Dan 1216, and yeah, welcome. So I got some topics that I want to talk about. Is regards to some I don't know. I guess this can be said like this topic has been talked about many times in other channels. But as we talked about before we go live, it's all about old versus new. What's the pros and the cons when it comes to comic collecting? I'm sure you guys. As for me, I've been collecting comics for the past 5 years now, so I'm considered myself as a new collector still. So with that said, what are the pros and the cons that you guys think that is when you compare to the old collector? When I mean old, is not their age; it's the years of experience they have in collecting. They couldn't be collecting like 25 years or 15 years, and the books that they accumulated during that time at certain prices, and versus the new collectors that, like myself, that came in like 5 years ago and still not able to attain those big huge grails that people are showing. For example, like my ultimate grail is AF-15, the first Spider-Man, Peter Parker, those kind of things. And until this date, I can't get it. It's really hard. you know, I think it was at 1.8 or 1.5 was selling for about what 18, 20 grand for very low grade. And when I see those kind of things, it's just got to a point where I wonder if I'm the only one thinking this way about me being a new collector compared to the old collectors. Like, what kind of field? I mean, what kind of things that we can do as a new collector, as you know, compared to the old collector, which they already attained their books, their mindset. You know, are we keep collecting because we want to achieve that grail, or are we just doing it for the sake of love? You know, versus the old collectors. Yeah, go ahead.
David, I think you kind of hit the nail with what you said. I think it is the priority of it. At times, at least in my experience, is when you first start out. Yes, like Wolverine, but then through the collecting, it might change into a different direction to Spider-Man thing. So I guess when you say new collectors and they want to come in and for whatever reason for whether it's money or investing, it's a priority of what is your end game. And a lot of folks might not know the end game when they start off. So it's kind of important to kind of set up a priority list on what exactly it is that you want to do. I mean, there's a lot of times I see or hear people say, I just jump back because it's Batman. I jump because I'm Wolverine or X-Men. And then they start collecting those. And I could also break down the types of collectors other than the experience level, right? You might have a collector that's runs or another that's collecting investment in financial gains. So if you can say I want AF-15, then prior you making to gain that goal. Right. I mean, I saw a picture of probably about 3 years ago when I was holding up an 1.0 AF-15, and the asking price was 10 grand. People were laughing at that then. So imagine those same people looking back, go at that picture. Damn, I wish, I'm laughing, and woke up back then. I mean, new times, new days with how this collection answers of comics are going, but it's a setting already is as you go. It's always great. I just want to start something. I have 33 long runs. Really don't need those. I want what the big books out of those. So that's what I say is understand what is your priority when you jump in. As far as collectors from 25 years, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Bang, good on them. They liked that character and they picked it up, and it just so happens that character is now worth like 30, 50 grand now. So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for laughing. I'm not laughing at you, Tito. I'm laughing at freaking Jay Salsa in his comment.
Jay Salsa put a thing out today. It's pretty good. If you he actually has the other J. Scott Campbell book.
Let me expand on what Tito was talking about too. I agree with everything you were saying, but I think the main thing is finding out what category you fall in. I think I'm not going to speak for everyone, but the people who used to collect in the 60s and 70s, I believe that back then, because they didn't know that those books were to be worth anything, they just collected for the pure joy of it. I'm assuming in the 60s. And now it's come to a point where people realize that they are going to become valuable. And now you have more people coming in that maybe have a joy of the hobby, but they also see the aspect of making money off of the hobby as well as maybe a peripheral thing, a peripheral benefit. But I think now if you come into the hobby, you have to ask yourself, do you enjoy this purely for its artistic value or entertainment value? If it's that, then just collect what you like. But if it's because you also see the potential for financial gain in the future, you have to kind of understand that before you get into it. Otherwise, you're going to deviate. You're going to start buying a bunch of stuff that you liked, and then later on you didn't realize that you actually did want to invest, and you're like, I should have bought that book back when I started. But that was something you could have found out if you had kind of thought about that at the beginning. I think that's what happened with me when I first got back into it.
Yeah, I would agree, man. I think we all kind of piggyback off your comments a little bit. I think we all start off with that passion of comics, just for the sheer love of comics, and not necessarily know what direction we want to go with, right? So there's a lot of trials and tribulations along the way that we end up picking up more than we wanted, stuff that we just didn't like, and it's just evolution, right? I mean, our comic collections evolve. Even here today, I think all of us could agree that evolution is ever changing, and you go from phase to phase to phase to phase, and then you go back and say, well, why did I sell that? And there's a lot of regret for one reason or another. Either things pop off, or there's news and there's media. There's so much hype nowadays that we as comic collectors are steered in so many ways because of conversations that we have, or social media, or the good old-fashioned FOMO, right? And so FOMO is a no-fo, as everybody knows, right? So it'll get you, man. I mean, FOMO's no joke, and a lot of people right now have it. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of this, that, here, and there. So it's hard to stay true to what you're really passionate about unless you are strict at it. You have a list and you say, hey, this is what I'm going to go get, and you stick to it. You know what I mean? So, but easier said than done. I fall to that category where I've stuck to lists. We used to do in the comic community our yearly top 10, 20 lists that we used to do. And at the end of the year, we would check off what we had. I think that used to work out really good to kind of gauge you. I know Tito's going to go grab one, but I actually still have a couple of those just to see the progress where I've had from year to year to year, to see what I've acquired and see some of those gains, if you will. And it's interesting to see, if you put your mind to it and you kind of write it down, what you could accomplish with those goals in front of you, right? Just like anything else, anywhere in the world. There it is. Tito, I got a couple too, bro.
Hey, now mind you, this was 2020. The books that I had before all this pricing. Spider-Man 308 white pages. Yeah, okay. Detective 9, Primer 2, Marvel Spotlight 8.0. That was before all this price. Like man, fuck all that. I can't afford all that anymore.
Yeah, I think on one of mine, I got the land variant for the Spider-Gwen. So I'm like, that's long gone, man. Should have bought that book when it was $300, $350, and I still thought that was too much back then. But here we are today in retrospect.
I'll figure out.
Going towards which go ahead, brother.
No, you can go. What do you think, man?
So no, I said like going forward. He's saying between the people who collected before and now, you gotta think of the power of the dollar. Like how you said, back then there wasn't that much comics. Just like Marvel, DC, Indies wasn't big. So you look at all these things and you look at like what's people are buying now more. I think they're leaning more towards Indies than they are Marvel and DC. And back then you only had like a little bit to choose from, as opposed to now every week you have all these number ones. So like when it goes back to back time when you collected, your selected was very slim compared to now. You probably had 3 or 4 books that you get every week. Now you're getting 8 to 10 books, or there are all these number ones, all these key appearances that you don't know it could be big, or a good read. There's like, instead of 1 or 2 good reads, there's like 4 or 5 good reads that you want to read now a month. So it's one of those things where back then it was a little easier to speculate and gather, as opposed to now. It's a little different. There's a lot of broad, and I think that's what Martian says. there's a lot of movies coming out, a lot of things that they're not just comic collectors are collecting, people who are specking on it to make money, flippers or whatever, to make money on this comics, buy the comic that you want to collect when you only want that one copy. So there's more people out there buying than it was back in the day too. So yeah, there's other more comic shops. Yeah, I get that, but the fact that back then it was easier to spec as opposed to now, because now you don't know what's going to be hard, what's going, and then you miss the boat. But I tend to see as my collecting is, if I miss out, I miss out. It wasn't meant to be. I'll get it. I'll get what I can. But there's a situation where he said with the Greg Land the variant, I missed out on Spider-Gwen completely. Am I mad at myself? Nah. It'll come eventually. It maybe for cheaper what's going on eventually. But if not, then I'm not going to be buying myself. So, you know, you can't get everything. You can't win everything. So as opposed to specking and getting what you want, just like you said, make a list and get what you can obtain, the top 10 books in a certain price range. That helps you a lot financially too. Don't go buying because the FOMO, because you're gonna pay more than you should have paid if you would have been patient for, I think, about 60% of these books that come out. Because at the beginning, though, it's a $40 book. Oh shit, I get it. And then 4 months later, it's a $20 book or $15 book. If you would have just been patient as a collector, I've learned to be patient. If I can't get it for the price I want, then I won't get it at all. And that's what hurts the wallet and hurts the money that you collect, and it drops a lot of people from stop collecting because they don't know how to financially break it down. And I think that's the big difference now compared to how it was before.
Yeah.
So with talking about patience, I thought it has to do you going out there and looking for the book. Yeah, you probably patient at eBay, and I don't know. eBay is cheap. I like actually going out there and looking for the books, but if you can just the more time for a book, the more likely it is you'll find a book. If you go out there one time every 3 months and get mad and don't do it, you're setting yourself up for failure. And then the funnest thing, hunting is just constant chase for a book. But don't encourage because you didn't find it on your album.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Tito, man. And I think, you know, kind of even if you think about how YouTube evolved, you know, I mean, before that's what you saw, just the comic hunters, a lot of comic hauls, if you will. Now it's all the same.
Yeah, what are the freaking, I mean, to piggyback off of everything you guys are talking about and everything about like old collectors versus new collectors and, you know, all that good stuff. My biggest thing is back then, you know, you talk about old collectors, you didn't have all the media outlets that we have now. You know, you guys have the Twitter, you guys, you know, something that Donny Cates is notorious for using and pumping up books. So you got Twitter, you got Instagram, you got YouTube, you got a whole rack of different things. So one of the biggest things was back then, guys bought comic books, and girls, they bought comic books for reading. How many people nowadays read? Not many. As much as people want to admit it, majority of folks just buy the comic books to buy it because you got somebody out there saying, hey, this is the new hot book to get. This is this is what you guys want to be on the lookout for. And people are like, yo, I do it. For me, for example, yeah, I got like the Indie Spotlight show and stuff like that. And I'll talk to folks and I say, yo, it's a great fucking book, yo. Scoop it up. Like, I read this one. Check it out. But just because I tell you guys to go get something, it's a recommendation. It's not me telling you, going in your pockets, grabbing in your pocket and taking your money out and say, yo, go spend it on this. I'm not telling you to do that. Because in the end, you got to collect the way that you want to. The biggest thing about, like, again, now it's all about keeping up with the Joneses. It's everybody's running out because everybody's like, shit, I need that book because fucking Comic Tom told me to get this. I need that book because so-and-so said this is the new hot book. I need that book because it came out on the list, and that list says that this is the hot book attracting money. When all this stuff comes out, all I'm going to tell people, if you are a brand new collector, man, you're way too fucking late. You're way too late to the game because once all that shit comes out, it's because people have already been on that and they're ready to start selling shit. So those are the biggest things. I mean, old collecting was literally, it was all about reading, entertaining themselves, because you didn't have TVs the way that we do now. You don't have movies the way that we do now. You don't have all the shows the way that we do now. You know, one of the biggest things, I got to give a shout out to Tito, because Tito posted about how the creator for Loki was talking about that this has nothing to do with any comic book. So if people are speculating on this shit, yo, don't even bother, because it has nothing to do with comic books. It has to do with Loki and a different type of story, whatever. But that's how shit gets generated. That's how shit gets started. All it does is it takes for one person, 2, 3, 4, 5 people nowadays to just say, oh yeah, this is what's gonna possibly happen. Man, listen, WandaVision, I didn't even attempt to fucking speculate on that shit, just for the simple fact that I saw that they just went in the opposite ass direction of everything. You know what I mean? Like it just went fucking, you know, to the whole left side of the fucking orbit. It didn't go anywhere where people were like, oh my God, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. No. That's the shit that we face now. Now you have all these influencers, you got everything out there, all this media that just continuously feeds you info. And the more that you're gullible to it, and the more that people are saying, hey, I'm a brand new collector, this guy's saying he must know about comic books because he has a dope microphone, he's got a dope setup. So this guy's gonna fucking, he's telling me what to buy. So now, I mean, old collecting is old collecting. You got the old heads that are purists, they're gonna stick to what they want to collect. But nowadays, it's different. Guys want to keep up with the newest stuff. I don't want to read about fucking, you know, Jimmy Olsen fucking taking pictures with that old ass camera and a fucking flashlight that fucking, you know, burns out after one use. I don't want to read about that shit. Pretty much. I don't want to read about that. I want to read about current stuff, everything that we relate to nowadays. I don't want to go back to those. It's great to look at those. First time these characters ever appeared. In all honesty, that's not for me. That's not my cup of tea, because I saw Hazel Dan was talking about, you know, who considers themselves a new collector versus an old collector. I like collecting old Shazam stuff, Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel. Because the Captain Marvel that Marvel has sucks. I'm going to say that shit right here, right now. But as far as it comes to new collector, I'll consider myself a new collector. I'm not going to consider myself an old collector. Because I love the stuff that's current. I love a lot of that stuff. Have I read old Batman stuff? Because I'm a big Batman fan. Hell yeah. But let's be honest with ourselves. When the freaking Comic Code Authority came out, yo, why the fuck was Batman fighting a dragon? Or fucking leprechauns and all this shit? That shit got I have no interest. As why I go with Broski too. Broski said it. You go back to the fact that now you see why indie is becoming so popular. Because they're fucking keeping up with shit that's going on now. Even if they go back to stories in the 70s. You know, like you got Proctor Valley Road, man. Dope ass fucking read. Love that damn book. And you check out all these different things that are going on, man. It's just completely different, man. There is no way of relating old collecting to new collecting at all. It's complete different fucking polar opposites.
So with that, just going to piggyback with everything you guys said. I mean, it's a valid point. I think there's a lot of information on social media. You know, we got a lot of YouTube channels that telling you top 10 lists. You know, you got the Indie Spotlight that Thorough does every Tuesday. And you got, East meets West, telling the hot cover of the week. And you got TiVo, the Lord of the Long Box. There's just all these shows tells you that these books are hot. These books has been recommended. Now, going back to old collector, you think they have the mentality to watch this show and say, you know what? Maybe I should get that book. Or are they just satisfied to a point that say, you know what? I don't need to watch any of these. I don't need to listen to anybody because I already got the books that I wanted back in the day and said, you know what?
It all depends, bro. It all depends because, like, old collectors, they don't. All right, how do you say this? All right, old collectors, man. They not all collectors. Not all. Excuse me. I'm trying to word this right. Not all old collectors. There you go. I said that. Are not in that frame of mind. You know what I mean? They're not only thinking. Some of them are up to date. Some of them are like, you know what? Let me see what's up for indie. Let me. But you do have the stubborn old collectors that are like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to what Jack is gonna say. You know what I mean? Fuck that. You're not gonna tell me how to fucking collect books. You know what I mean? But it's a divided thing, you know, when it comes to old collectors. Because some old collectors are in the trend, and some old collectors are not. They just want to stick with what they collect and have, and that's it.
I'm gonna talk about like a small, just to discuss what you were talking about right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna discuss like a small sample group. There's been 3 or 4 older collectors, and when I say older, I mean they're probably in their mid to late 50s, possibly early 60s, mid 60s. I'm talking about that age group. And these were people that collected, you know, Amazing Fantasy 15 when they were 10 years old or whatever it was.
Mhm.
They collected stuff like that back then. They didn't know what it was going to be worth, and now it is. And I think for the most part, I could be wrong on this, at least just in my experiences, their stories are always, man, I wish I would have kept that book. It's not, you know what, I have 30 copies of this, and they're all in 9.0 condition. I've not seen that. I haven't seen a 60-year-old guy tell me that he bought 10 copies of Amazing Fantasy 15 back in whatever. I've never seen that. I have seen some older guys, meaning maybe in their late 40s, early 50s, who were kind of visionaries. I mean, because we're talking about the 1990s, these guys who are now in their early to mid 50s that did do some of that, but those books weren't 12 cents. They may be paid $500, like you were discussing earlier. Maybe they paid $500 to $1,000 per copy for those AF-15s in those high grades, and they held on to them till now. And I only think that's like a handful of individuals who did something like that. I'm sure some of them kind of show off on social media, and it seems like a bunch of people did that, but I don't see a whole lot of people who did something like that. In the 90s, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just thought that it was, I don't know, it was just to a point where I've been seeing a lot of this top 50 videos, and I did do a mix of old collectors that, that's been collecting for so long, for past, 15, 20 years. Yeah. Of course, they probably had a time off here and there due to the life and, being married and kids and so what. And versus the new collectors that they've been showing the top 50s. And I can tell you guys this right now. I just say Josh is a whole different level of collectors, okay? Even though he started 1 year ago.
Yeah.
But majority of these new collectors, they don't have a deep pocket. They don't have a 6-figure salary job they go to each, every day. But I see the same top thing. 50, but go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but the same can be said of those older collectors back in the day. They probably didn't have a lot of money either. They just happened to get lucky, which is why a lot of them, I think, in the 90s sold their stuff. Because most of this stuff, at least from a cultural perspective, geek stuff was seen as lame. Get rid of this crap. You know what I'm talking about? It was kind of frowned upon. It wasn't cool to have this stuff. Now all of a sudden it's like in, and everyone wants to do it, and it's part of mainstream culture. They're releasing all these movies, all these series, and if you don't like this stuff, now you're out of the club. Now it's kind of flipped. So you got all these people wanting this stuff, and those old guys probably didn't anticipate that happening. This being a cultural movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So you feel that we as a new collector has a what? A better advantage in collecting when it comes to comic books versus the old, like you said, Alex, like you said, it goes back to being lucky that they had this book when they had it versus us, the new collectors. We pick and choose, and we read, and we pick and choose what books we want to get and speculate on that and hoping that it will become that grail in the future.
Possibly. The thing now is that a lot of things are, the books back then, we probably won't see the same types of gains that they have. The only reason I'm saying that is because the books from back then, a lot of them got destroyed, or they were limited in the number of copies that were printed. Now, during the 90s especially, books were printed 1 million copies, 500,000 copies. Now I don't know what the average print run is, maybe 50,000, something like that. But now everyone knows, so they all keep it in 9.8 condition. But I will say that it is still possible, although it's not going to be as great of a chance as now to do something like what the situation that they had back then, where those books are worth this much now, only because everyone's keeping their copies. But if you collect, I'm talking about new books now, new keys. If you collect from, I want to say like renowned, noteworthy, potentially historical figures from now that are going to be mentioned 20 or 30 years from now, Alex Ross might be an example. He's not from the 60s, you know what I mean? He wasn't one of the famous Spider-Man artists from the 60s. He's a modern, I feel like he's more of a modern guy, but I think he will be remembered. And if he isn't already, at some point he probably will. You could correct me if I'm wrong. If he's in, isn't there like a Hall of Fame for comic book artists? There's like a big thing for, you get the Jack Kirby Award or whatever it is.
Awards.
Yeah.
Will Eisner Award.
So if you collect a character that he introduced and created that for whatever reason became like inspirational, like it was almost became like a movement, like Spider-Man represented the teen that got rejected, stuff like that. Maybe they have something like that modern. If you collected the first appearance of a character that was influential in a similar way, that has the potential for being expensive later on down the road. But I think because there's so many guys getting into the game, it's kind of, I don't know, it's like overflowed with his creativity. You got so many new artists, you have no idea what to do. And I think that translates into people purchasing all these number ones. Like you mentioned earlier, there's so many new number ones being printed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
Well, it's like that. It's like that. Was it the Wonder Woman, Yara Florida, or whatever the girl? That book was out, 5 months ago? And it was a regular book. You find that shit everywhere in the shops. Now it's like, you're paying, $25-$30 for it? And no one can find that for print?
Is it just regular or is it like exclusive?
No, it's the Future State. It's the Future State cover 8. It's her first appearance as Wonder Woman. So you look at that book,
Gomez with his Future State, DC Future State books.
but you look at that book. That book's a book that's $20 right now. 3 or 4 months is going to be a $40 book.
Why?
Because
is it a $20
it's their first
book?
appearance. See, look at the new things that they're doing with these new characters. We talk about like Kamala Khan, all that stuff. Those stuff were in the 60s. They're now in the 90s, the late 90s, 2000s. I mean that they came out maybe even past that. The power, like I told you before, the value of a dollar is going up. That's what comic books were like, $2 each, $1 each. Now you're looking at $6, $5 a book. So the cost of the book's gonna always be more there down the line, like pricing of comics. So that's why the prices of comics to get them or first appearances are going to be triple value of the cover it was. So that's why they're more expensive now. And even getting older books, it's harder because I don't know if they're more scarce or the fact of the condition. So
I only believe that when there's like buzz with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you pick up a number 1, it could be a first appearance of that character, and that's not going to do anything in the future. It may not do anything in the future. It's just about buzz. It's all about somebody saying something.
How significant is the character? Do you have the potential to endure in time?
That character that carry with Yara Flor, the Wonder Woman character, it's not really that big of a deal to me, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you go to a Wonder Woman movie, say like they make another one or 2 or 3, they see that girl's in it. All of a sudden, and look at Riri Williams. You go to DCU, you're right, MCU, whatever it's called, DC, whatever. Look at that. She shows up, that book's gonna blow. That big book's been blowing.
All right, so let me ask you a question because I'm not reading Future State. that new Wonder Woman. Is that a version? Is it? Are we talking? I mean, it's a silly question. Is this book set in the future timeline?
Yes.
So my problem with that, it's not in the same canon as what we're in right now. So if we're talking about long-term hold or speculating, and to me when it comes to speculating, we suck at it. But this is just my logic. For it to maintain value or value, like you were saying, it has to have some kind. There's got to be a reason, and it's not in the same time as the Clark Kent, the now Wonder Woman. Then I have a hard time saying, yeah, that's
okay.
A big.
Okay, then what about Batman Beyond? That's in the future.
That's but it got into continuity.
I'm gonna talk them up. Okay. So I'm talking about the Batman Beyond. I think that has modern historical significance.
Cartoon with it.
Yeah, but it has modern historical significance because he's supposed to be the successor of Bruce Wayne. And
Let me say one
that's the
thing.
only.
Anything DC is not gonna do shit.
You never know.
Yo, David, you need to get that shit out your head, bro. You need to get that shit out your head.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey.
That
is like
anything to do with DC is going to be
so it's not worth anything.
It's underutilized. It's underutilized. DC.
I just think
I don't want to go there, but Warner Brother, they're fucked up.
No, you don't want to go there, so don't go there.
I'm telling you, you guys talk about how people watch, like how what the MCU has done with Marvel books and speculating. I'm telling you, man, the Marvel get their shit straight. All right, they know how to promote, they know how to make movies, they know how to use the characters. When it comes to DC, they're fucked up. They don't know what direction they're going. All right.
But this is the thing, David, man. This is the thing, man. When they do figure it out, you're gonna kick yourself in the ass and be like, you know what, damn, you know what, I should have bought the first appearance of Batman Beyond or Damian Wayne or whatever. Now you can say that because now definitely I agree with you. They don't know what to do with DC. But when they do figure out what to do with DC,
yeah,
that's when you pick them up now.
Take advantage. Take advantage.
That's what you call smart investment.
By then, I'll be 6 feet on the ground by the time they get their shit straight.
Bro, I was in it already.
Okay. So we talked about old versus new. So I guess we can recap to a point that old collectors will have their own significant way of collecting, but I guess when it comes to the new collectors, they're more savvy when it comes to collecting. They have, they can pick and choose, we speculate on things. I think Hoodoo TV does it well. The new collectors now consider them as a speculator than more than anything.
Okay, I'll give you that.
All right.
I don't know if I would use the term more. What do you savvy? Know how to use electronics?
Technologically.
Okay.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not the most savvy comes to technology when it comes to computer, but I do pick and choose. I do speculate on books. I do read time to time when I do have time to read. And things, and also I myself do feel jealous that people get their AF-15 10 years ago, like some big, like James.
But at the
Monster over there,
10 years old?
Yeah, but at the same time, man, I'm happy with what. Am I happy? Are you guys okay? Let's talk about this. Are you guys happy with your guys' collection?
I will tell you right now, no. I'm not happy. I'm not there yet.
Yes, I'm absolutely wholehearted.
I'm satisfied.
So you guys are satisfied?
You can always.
I-
There's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement.
I'm happy, man. If I stop collecting, I have plenty of shit to read. So I'm not worried about it. If I stop collecting right now, I think I'm happy with the certain girls I've gotten over time. So you can't get them all. You can't get them all.
Let me ask you a question, David. Are you happy? What do you mean? What is that? With the books?
Man, who the fucking keeps
value?
keep messaging? Who's messaging, man?
What a message.
I keep getting this like this fucking window. Jesus Christ, man.
People see on
Let's just keep
Instagram.
this professional. All right.
You call this professional, David? Come on, man.
You know what, David? You know what I realized
You
earlier?
better get your $20 back, brother.
You know what I realized
Alright.
to kind of discuss what you were talking about?
What?
You have to be willing to sacrifice. You can't keep everything that increases in value unless you just have super deep pockets. You have like unlimited funds and you
Yeah.
can buy and keep
Yeah.
everything.
That's the worst
And
part of the
I
hobby,
paid
man.
$13.50
Because you got to
per
be
hour.
able to like flip stuff. You got to be able to let it go. You know what I mean? To acquire
Yeah.
something else.
Remember
it's-
I
it's-
asked you?
It's the
David.
hardest part of the hobby, man.
It is.
For-
It is.
One second. I don't know if it's. I asked you, would you be willing to sell your Ultimate Fallout 4 variant to sell that for an AF-15? That's a big move.
Yeah, but why am I gonna sell my first appearance of Spider-Man for another first appearance of
What book?
Spider-Man?
Which book means more to you, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right,
a
Mr.
fucking
Spider-Man
good
in your hat. All right, Mr. Spider-Man in your hat. Get that shit.
Here's my goal. Since Spider-Man happens to be my favorite character, my goal is to get first appearance of both Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's
I already
ideal.
have already.
That's
I did
ideal.
one already. So why not? You know, when I first started, AF-15 was my end game. You know.
Yeah.
Then I keep getting text message from Rated R saying that you got to get this Campbell, that limited to 2,500 X-Men #1. Well, like I go order like 3 freaking like boom, another $100 gone right there. You know, my whole day paycheck gone on 3 books. You know, so and you,
True that.
and
That's a discipline issue, wouldn't it?
That too.
yeah, well, discipline, but it was a sexy ass cover, so I had to get it, man.
So what does that do
I
for
had
your
to get it.
AF-15?
It was a sexy ass cover.
Exactly. Tito.
AF-15, I don't know. AF-15 is not sexy as cover as it should be. And it's carrying that guy like
Bro, you
trying
are
to give a
making
hit
so
to him.
many excuses at other books in book AF-15 right now.
All right, Jay Salsa. Yes, I gotta stop buying those 8 printing of the
Exactly,
fucking something. But those are free books. If those were free books, it's not like
No, not really. You had to buy other books to get that book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Berserker.
a way. Yeah.
Have you-
Technically, it's not really free.
But
Have you seen-
I sold those books already, so like I got my money back, and I still got my Something's Killing the Children 8 printing, and which was a free book.
I'm gonna
I'm still
I'm gonna
hoping
say
that
something.
that goes.
I'm gonna say something I might
Go ahead.
regret later because I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think
You are
Ultimate
wrong.
Fallout 4 I think Ultimate Fallout 4 will retain its value and it will continue to grow in the future. Maybe not at the rate it currently is, but I think it will retain it because of its significance. There's other modern books that are going to crash later on. Like
Yeah.
certain things are trends. Even discussing maybe like different tech companies, all of a sudden they're the most popular thing, and then 5-10 years down the line they crash and they're obsolete. Maybe something else comes along that's more interesting, like MySpace.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm just going to segue to what the Doom 143 wanted. He put it on the message saying that we should talk about this. It's more of now the life is going back to normal. COVID-19, whatever, slowly it's being lifted. Cons are coming back, guys. Comic cons are coming back, man. And people are going to go back to work. Things going to go back to how it was in early 2019. Now with that said, not many people are going to be sitting their ass in front of a computer buying those things on eBay, whatever, Comic Link and stuff, to bring those comic book prices up like how it is right now. So what do you guys think? Do you think the value of the book will actually go down, sustain, or go higher in price?
Hold on. Has anybody gone to con this year?
I already bought my ticket for my Emerald City Comic Con in December.
Went to some shows, not a con.
Joker, you went to the show?
Yeah.
Marsha did.
No.
Who, me? I ain't you, my
So
bad.
not a big con, but just one of those ordinary hotel things.
Okay.
All right. All right, well, I'll go. Shit, I know it at the screen. So my first show for 2021 last weekend. I made a video about it with the smoke. And I'm glad that you brought up because it was something that I'm the prices that I was seeing at the show were high than eBay asking price. And I'm just like, okay, well, this is dumb right now. Like, how do you negotiate? Where do you even start the negotiations on a price higher than eBay asking? I might as well just pay and buy the book. I get it from you. At least I get guaranteed. If I don't like it or not.
That's surprising.
Yeah, and that's why I was anybody else gone to a show and to run into a similar like that where you just look at the books and thinking to yourself, I talk from my middle Georgia, right? The area that I'm at, 40,000 people, and then maybe 1,000 collectors. Spectrum of 2,000. So you're putting a price that is visible on a regional area, which makes no sense to me. And you said something.
Can you give an example of a book like that would be a certain price on eBay and what they were selling for?
Yeah, Ghost Rider. Was it Ghost Rider 4?
Man, who cares about Ghost Rider, man?
Ghost Rider 5 for $6.
Okay. So what would the percentage be of difference? I'm saying, like 20% more at the show.
No, Ghost Rider is nowhere near 6.
So it's like double or something.
Yeah. I think Ghost Rider 5 goes for about 35 to 4, and that's just me through the head. Anybody else can do a fact check on that. But yeah. When I say like, there's no way, like you're putting these crazy prices on a regional that has a collectors on 30,000.
Here's the thing. It was a crazy guy. It's a crazy LCS guy that's putting that kind of price tag on a Ghost Rider. That should be a $4 book.
Somebody is buying it to put those prices there. As simple as that, or they're fishing. But are you there to sell a book, or are you there to see them? That's basically what it comes down to. You got good prices, you're gonna sell your books. If you have high prices, people are gonna look at you on walking.
That's something I talked about, Tito, not too long ago. I was talking about how like people are scared to sell.
Yeah,
they're watching the market just trending upward like crazy because you could sell today, for example. Yeah, you could sell something today, and tomorrow you could wake up and that book just triple price out of nowhere, just because somebody, a big movie production company or whatever, comes out and puts on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, And that's the problem that we face now. That's the reason why it's going to become even more difficult for folks to get, that big book, whatever it is, because everybody has their own individual grails. Like you're talking about the Marvel Spotlight, right? So for me, I love that book. I love Ghost Rider. So now you look at it and you could be like, shit, I could have bought that book for $500 literally last year. And you look at it now and you could get a freaking 3.540 and that thing is over 1K easily. So now all these guys that are going to go sell comic books, this is why I'm interested to go to Terrificon. I'm interested to go to Baltimore Comic Con and all these cons because I do want to go over there and I want to see what each individual seller is trying to sell their stuff at. Because so far from what I heard, like Biggie's, Joker, they were talking about going to the local shows when they went to New Hampshire. And they were saying, yo, I couldn't even buy anything because some of these guys had the price way over GPA and they didn't want to budge on it. So I 100% agree. It's like going to a local show here, right? Go and ask a guy, hey, all right. They'll say, hey, I got this book, $2,000. Hey, would you be able to do 1,800? 200, not too big of a, not too big of a deal, whatever. Hey, sorry, nah, man. Yeah, but GPA last sale on eBay is currently going for, this price, 1,800 or whatever. They won't budge on it. And that's the thing. Listen, I believe that these guys don't even care if they don't sell anything because they'll wait to put it on eBay. Let's just so face it. eBay is a big monster. They're going to fucking destroy everything that we got, our hopes and dreams when it comes to trying to pick up a book because everybody's going to look at it and they're just going to wait for eBay and they're going to be like, well, you know what? The last eBay price, I don't care about GPA. The last book on eBay just sold for $5,000. So I want 5. Yeah.
Well, now you're not buying a book anymore. You're buying a future.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got way too many people, man. I said it. I know Wall Street guys who never fucking collected sports cards, never collected comic books, never collected any of that stuff. And these guys would call me and ask me and say, yo, bro, what's the next big book that I could purchase that I know I can have an investment? That's what it is. It's not even a collector's world anymore. It's all about investing. It's all investments. Every single book is just fucking, even books that we could have fucking thought less of. Those freaking things are going through the roof now. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what is this book doing selling for fucking $2,000?
You got more people involved.
Yeah, nobody's gonna mess with their investments. I mean, that's just plain and simple. Nobody's gonna fuck with that. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna sell this less than what the asking rate is going for." I'm gonna try to sell it above that, and then that's gonna continue that trend of going upwards. And again, man, if you guys, that's what I say, try to stay 10 steps ahead of everybody, man. Look left while everybody's looking right, because a lot of people are collecting certain shit that we already know personally. If you could look at yourself deep down inside your pockets and your soul and say, I know I can't afford this shit, even if I sold a shitload of books, then don't even bother with it. I'm going to be honest with you. That's like for me. What dream book do I want? I want a Batman #1. Batman #1, I know for the life of me, as much as I would want it, somebody would have to gift it to me. Because a Batman 1 is fucking, you're talking about up there the freaking price of a house. I'd rather have a house than I have a Batman #1. But in the end, that's just the reality of things. People don't look at the reality of stuff. If you can't reach something and you know that, that is already beyond my means, don't try to go after it. Try to go somewhere else where you're like, you know what? I like this other character too, and I can afford their first appearance. Or I can afford this. That's the situation we all face now, man. That's the reality. I say it. Just go on eBay. And again, just go on eBay, look at all those prices, and look at how books are selling. The fucking things are going crazy.
It's like the thrill. Go back to Tito says, the thrill of the hunt. Thrill of the hunt. And, that when you go to a comic store, instead of buying on the secondary market, there's a few stores out there that don't even know what they got. So you could go there. I bought a book. Was it 2 days ago for like $40, $50? It's the first appearance of Black Spectrum. It's going for like $180.
Yeah.
I bought it, and I saw it at the mall. I was like, can you do 40? The guy's like, well, the manager's not here. You have to wait till Wednesday. I'm like, I was like, I'll just take it because I know that book for sure ain't gonna last there. No, it's was it Moonlight 25 Black Spectre.
Okay. OG. Got it.
So that one I end up pulling the trigger on because I know that book is like something that's gonna go up in time. It hasn't reached its peak. It's slowly creeping from 80, 120, like a 130. It's in that range. And that book is in a high grade. I say 9.6 all day.
Yo, broski, here's the thing too. Like you said it, right? You went up to the counter and I've checked out so many LCSs, bro. I've gone to antique houses. I've gone to a lot of places to go on the hunt. And this is why, like, I know James, we had this conversation on my show one time. I said, yo, I personally believe that the hunting game is going to be over at some point because way too much information is out there. Yeah. So many more people are going to start hunting. Yeah. And when it all dries up, it all ends up on eBay. So now the biggest thing too is you said it right now. You went to the counter and you spoke to the guy, hey, can I do 40? Now my manager's not here. Back in the days when I used to buy comics, they used to have the guys and they used to allow them to haggle with you. Everywhere I go now, the manager's not here. I can't give you that price. Wait till my manager. The manager comes or whoever, the owner. Yo, can I do 40? Sorry, man. Let me check eBay. Same thing now is happening, dude. You go on a hunt. What the hell happens to you when you go to the counter now? I've had so many times, yo, I walked out of stores when I'm there looking through shit, go to the counter and it's like, or give me a second, on the computer, checking fucking eBay. And next thing you know, that fucking book that, yes, thank you. You know, he's punching me in the fucking face. That's how I feel. It's, you go to the freaking counter and you're there spending hours looking through the motherfucking boxes, doing the work, and then all of a sudden, boom, your fucking guy's like, hey, sorry, man, I know I have a $2 price tag on here, but this book is going for $100. So that's why that person keeps saying the hunt is going to be, yo, that shit is going to be extinct.
Thoro, what you were talking about earlier too, about people, I'm going to say that I know people that used to be day traders that now are into this hobby. And that's their career. That's like their business. They don't go to a 9-to-5 job. They just trade stocks. And these are guys with maybe $100,000 at their disposal. All they do is recycle that money. They might put 20 grand in Apple, wait for it to go up. They pull it out, make 5K. So they make deals like that. You got people that have that type of thinking now into this hobby. And they're picking up all these Hulk 181s, and it's like doing crazy stuff to the market.
Expanding the portfolio. That's all they're doing. That's what these guys are asking me for advice for on comic books. And you know, I'll tell them, I'll be like, here, this is the shit. You can look it up. You don't even have to ask me, bro. Just go online and you'll see a rack load of articles of different people writing shit on Google, talking about, oh, this is the new hot book. This is that. This is going. Hey, a Batman #1 just sold for $1 million or whatever.
Now the question is that good or bad for the hobby? You know what I mean? With all these ridiculous
It's bad. Nobody cares about Batman 1.
Bad for the hobby, man.
No.
Bad.
So
Anything DC, throw it away.
Yo, David.
Throw it Hadaway, bro.
Do you think with the eBay check, the last minute checks before they set up in 2022, this year I don't think it's gonna change. It is what it is. 2022, do you think the vendors gonna be like, look, I'm setting up at these shows and nobody's buying much. Let me loosen up my on the prices.
Yo, Tito. I went to a couple shows. I went to the New Hampshire show, with Biggs, the Warriors and stuff. So I've noticed something. They don't have those certain books. I didn't see one UF4. I didn't see a Marvel Spotlight on the wall. And this was like a whole little small stadium. Like, so there was plenty. It was like almost 100 vendors where we was at. I ain't see no Miles books. I ain't see no like you said, Marvel Spotlights. There's certain books. And I was talking to Erod about this, and Erod was saying, I think these vendors are holding on to these things.
Yeah, definitely.
And
that's all on purpose.
Yeah, that's all on purpose. Yeah, and I just find it, how everything is just getting affected by it. I should say. There you go, affected by that. And now that
So-
I can't buy a freaking UF4 off the wall of the show. That you go back like in 2022, like you say, you see that book that book on the wall, and it's gonna cost like 24,000. The variant or the 1 in 25.
And
You know what I mean?
that goes back what Thor was saying. Thor was saying that these guys are scared to sell. And they're scared
Yeah.
to sell these books. So, yeah, of course, it makes perfect sense. If you're a smart guy, they'll keep the book until it's the right time or until they need money. So,
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know if that's a smart play. You know what I mean? I mean, you can hold on, but so much. You know what I mean? You got to circulate. That has to circulate. The book has to circulate.
So is it on the regional customer base not at the level that you want it to be?
so the stock market, you wait until that thing rises.
Well, not saying that. I ain't trying to down talk my area, but we're not the richest truck in the world, right?
No.
Why put up an Ultimate Fallout 4 for $2,200 or $2,400 at a show where you know that nobody's going to be able to afford it or are able to
It might be also to attract attention to your table. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You put up that big book with a big FU price on it, and it's just like attract people to get over there. So, and there's people fishing. You know what I mean? There's people that are going to
You want to attract buyers. If you want to attract buyers, get a girls with big boobs, not big books.
That's only for you, bro.
Yo,
Yeah.
you say that,
Woman
I went to a comic
cosplay with no DC books.
fucking guy. That's it. I'm done. Nah, I went to a comic swap, and there was. I'm not gonna say anybody's name, but there was a vendor there, and this dude had his books overpriced. One example, he had a First America Chavez, Vengeance #1 A cover, not the 1 in 5, 1 in 15. We're talking about the A cover. He had a raw copy for $750.
What?
Yes, $750. And the reason why, because me and Biggs was talking, and the reason why he said it was potentially a 9.4.
Yes. Yep. I've run into that.
What the fuck?
But if you think that, why don't you submit it?
Exactly.
Yep. It's either it has a potential of being this score, it's a potential of being a superstar in the future. So they're putting the prices on books now.
And now everybody's scared to submit their books because you don't know if you're going to get it in 2022 or 2023. That's the other problem. So if you got to flip something, you can sell it right there.
Or they could switch it.
Hey, exactly, that too.
Has anybody submitted lately?
Oh, dude, I got a book from January. I just recently got it.
Yeah, I got a stack over there right now, and it's taking 3 months.
I don't even want to, man. I just gave up on it.
Yeah.
I just saw somebody on Instagram sending this in it just now being scheduled for grading.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all messed up, dude. Even how they there's supposed to be different tiers of they receive it and schedules for grading. All that is just nonsense. They don't even do any of that stuff.
Exactly.
Red.
I just graded myself. That's good.
Yeah, he's slapping himself.
What is that? 9.8? Fuck, if you're gonna grade it yourself, you should give yourself a 10. Why 9.8?
Yeah.
These are realistically, you know what I mean?
We're not talking PGX here, all right?
Yeah, I would give myself a 10 on all of my books.
Oh man.
So
Now,
you think that you guys
comes to the cons, yellow labels on book. I'm more interested in how much these people are going to be asking yellow label signatures, because typically it ranges from $10 to $20, and that's your A-listers and your super A-listers. You're just either 60 to 60, and then your Frank Miller was 100. So I mean, 2 years ago I was getting a claim for $5. You know, Marv Wolfman was $10. George Perez was free.
Yep.
So now you know the CGC house signings. You know, need of money, and not profit. Survive. Curious to see how Yellow Label signatures are going to increase their stats. That's what I'm doing.
But
Like,
you
look
can
at
do
Clayton
that.
Crane. Look at Clayton Crane right now, bro. That motherfucker got a menu of all his signatures, and it costs, I think it's like a murder signature is like 150. That's with a yellow label. Yo, dead ass with a yellow label. But I give credit to him though, because he's switching up his signature at least. Now you got other motherfuckers like he said. Tito said you had George Perez was free. You had all these other man. I remember Joe Rubenstein, for example. Love his work. I've gone up to his table, got shit for free. Then boom, now it's like, all right, $20. Next time I go to a con, it was like 30. Yeah, it'll just start changing, bro. And these guys know it. But the main reason why this happens is because like CGC, they're doing the signings. And now these guys are like, shit, I'm getting paid for signing people's books. I'm gonna keep up with this habit. Let me keep doing it.
Wall signatures this time used to be free. And then it starts to free signatures, and that thing will be like $5.
Neil Adams is $50.
What's that?
Now you're talking like an old collector, Tito.
Motherfucker, because it hurts my pockets. That's why. Shit. Your labels ain't cheap, motherfucker.
That's like, yo, what is the
50?
Like back in the day, I used to get a signature for $5. Back in the day, there used to be freaking free signatures. Come on, old man.
So like,
You know
like
what? I don't. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, like, post COVID, bro. What do you guys personally think these guys are gonna be charging now for signatures and shit? I don't think, dude. I honestly don't think it's gonna be cheap.
No.
Realistically, I am hoping $5, $20 yellow label, and then it goes up based on like our status. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's gonna be $5 raw and $20. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh my god, man! Listen, you and me both.
I don't listen. I cannot complain when it's people like Neil Adams ask for $50. I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
When it's Ramita Senior, or when it comes to Frank Miller for $100, I don't mind that. That's fine. But these new artists, they shouldn't be asking for that. You know what I mean? Because these older artists, you know what I mean? They not. I don't know where they're getting their finances from. You know what I mean? Now
You paid their dues. You know what I
From
mean?
the Heroes Initiative.
well, true.
Who knows if they get no money from the Heroes Initiative?
That's from
That's
David's
the other
hat.
It's fucking
For Davis hat.
getting fucking money from the Heroes Initiative and stuff. They're charging you $100 for freaking signatures. What's up with that, man?
Oh, man.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, joke aside, you know, you guys talked about CGC, how you guys submit your book in January. They're still grading, right? On top of that, they're so backed up, but they still add fucking artists.
Yes.
You know, they have a whole menu of this freaking artist signature. I mean, what the hell's going on in CGC, man? I mean, I don't even think
it's quicker.
you know.
I think all that's those signature things. I think that's what backs up a lot of things. And
Yeah. It takes priority, right? It takes resources. It takes people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's where the customers are at. You know, they shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? They're a grading company, and obviously they're revenue, but and you got to take care of your biggest customer, right? And that's everybody grading.
yeah, I agree.
A different department for that.
They just opened 2 or 3 new facilities. CGC.
So you feel that the book will sustain and go higher after this whole COVID limitation has been lifted, right? Is that all we're agreeing on?
Depends on the book.
I think so, bro.
Well, now it's like signature series books are gonna be
Books
expensive.
are going to sustain, but your brains ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think books are gonna come down, bro. Way too many people got too much invested in them, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't no way in hell they're coming down. It's the same. It's the same way CGC wouldn't change labels of first appearances, even though they knew it'd be true. It's not like You know, as much as people fight about Hulk, Hulk 180, 181, motherfuckers on the damn Hulk 180 on the damn back full page, everything. It is what it is. For me, but the market dictates. Again, they're not going to go back and change that shit. So you better believe these prices ain't going to change.
Post-COVID, I think the market's going to retain its 85% of its growth rate. I think it'll dip a little bit, but it's going to retain for the most part.
Yeah,
there's got to be. They're going to always retain. The keys is where everybody's at, and that's the big focus. Those are the big eyes. Those are the big movers, shakers, if you will. But yeah, I think there's too much money vested in there, like Thorough said. Everything else will kind of dip and fall out. You know what I mean? Just your Wednesday Warrior stuff, your stuff that just kind of hit and miss.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Interesting. Because I was thinking maybe, in December, Emerald City Comic Con I think it's like December 2nd through the 5th. I was thinking maybe take about 10 like CGC books in my, in a back pocket, go to LC, whatever books, the dealers there, and trying to deal up, trying to do a trade, saying, I because there's no way I'm going to have like a few $1,000s in my pocket to buy books that maybe might attract my eyes or that I want to attain. But
you could definitely barter. You could definitely barter different cons. Yeah.
I've seen some. I haven't done it myself, but I was at a con last year, and dude, this guy was just hustling, man. He took his little backpack. He was just had a bunch of CGC books, and he was just upgrading. But he had to go. He was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna give this stuff up and upgrade." I think he took a couple hits here and there, but you got to be willing to do that as well.
Yeah.
Because they're dealers, they're gonna kind of shake you down a little bit for certain things. But if you got the right books and they want them and they know they're hot commodities today and they're gonna sell them on that floor that same day, they're willing to work with that. You know what I mean? It's easier to sell $200-$300 books for them rather than those $2,000-$3,000 books that are just sitting up there. So if you have that goal in mind, I think you'll do pretty good.
And I think that's what goes back to buying multiples. I buy multiples in certain comics because if I want to do that in the future, I'll be able to do it with my multiples to obtain a certain comic I wasn't able to obtain. So it's always smart to get doubles, and that goes back to the collecting aspect. If you can get two at a recent price, like I got three king size annual Avengers. The first Katie Pride and Rogue. Yeah. So I was able to get two of them for $50 and get one more for $35. So I got 3 copies. They're all about 8.5 to 9.5 range, 9.6 range. That book's slowly creeping up too. That book was a $40 book when I first was going to buy it.
A 98 is crazy. Yeah.
I slept on that.
I ended up getting 3 of them for less than $100. So that's one of my books that I will probably get 3 graded and keep one to trade for something that I will able to attain that the person's willing to give up because they got multiples of that book. So it's always smart when you're a collector. If you can obtain these books and get multiples for a price, that it might spike later, or just in case of trading purposes. As a collector, that's always good to do that too as well, which in my case, if I have the opportunity, I'll grab it again. If I see that book that I just bought for $50 and I see it for $60, so I'll probably buy it again. And then I'll probably just flip the one that's less condition for about $20-$30 more than what I paid, and end up paying for both books for that one. So it's a thought process when it comes to collecting, and it's a lot of thought processing. And that's my way of collecting is if I could get 2 of them, I will get 2 of them, and for the price I'm willing to pay. So you never know. That's how I do it too. It's an investment, but it's also a collection that I'm doing. So it's a little bit of both when I collect.
How do you come to that decision though? You feel really great about a particular book, and then you're like, I'll buy 3 or 4 of these or whatever.
You get a hunch as a collector from collecting for so many years. You kind of know that book has not reached its peak yet, or it maintained the same value. It won't go lower than the value it is. And we talk about now how the price of books are just escalating. And if it's a key first appearance and it's a Bronze Age book, you never know. You never know. So those books are hard to obtain later. And I was lucky when COVID opened up, I was able to find some of these books. I found the Cacophony, was it the 1 in 25, the number 3.
Yeah, the
I
same.
bought that book. Yeah, I bought that book last year, January, for $15, and I snapped it. It came in 9/8. That goes back to saying when you go to a comic store that only knows about Silver Age and Bronze Age books, but don't know about current. You gotta kind of know where to shop and what to shop for at certain comic shops.
Yeah,
That's how
you're
you
talking
know.
about the Batman Cacophony one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Bill Sink or?
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I
a
bought that one for $7.50, and I graded it. So I invested.
You know why?
like
You know why,
$30
Gomez?
into
That's
it.
a DC book, bro.
Yeah, but that book still retains value. It's a $300 book all day.
Now who sound like the old collector now, huh?
Yeah.
David,
So
You got me. You got me 2 times over. I don't really do doubles unless I find it for like really cheap. And the books because I have the same mentality as you. As you know, I got a fuck ton of books, and some are worth quite a bit of money. But then at the same time, the really rid of them, like I said before, I'm content, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm going to have remorse later on where I'm like, man, did I really want to sell that? And to an example, remember when Old Man Logan or Wogan or 66 was a couple years with that Logan movie? That was $300, $400, $9.8 every day during that time period. You go look and see that book is now. It's like maybe a $100 book now.
It's like $50, man.
Yeah. So I lost out a buku amount of money. I know myself enough to, you know what? I'll have seller's remorse. I actually like Old Man, one of my favorite characters. No, I'm not gonna sell. I'm gonna just knowing of seller's remorse first what your priority is.
yeah.
If the priorities higher than your seller's remorse, like you want your AF-18 and you're like, I'm going to get rid of my Ultimate Fallout 4. Okay, and I'm sure, David, you have an Ultimate Fallout A cup. Get rid of that variant. All right, the first appearance.
Well, no. The thing is that I'm glad you mentioned that because I did sell my my Fiona Staple 1 out of 50 in a 98, and also sold the my Sarah Pacelli 1 out of 15 variant in a 9.8 to the same seller. I think I made close to about $3,000 for it, which I only spent less than $200 for those 2 books.
Right.
So I'm happy,
I guess.
But do I
guess-
have a regret selling it early? Yeah, because one of them sold for about $2,500.
Dude,
So-
this year is an anomaly, man. You can't really go off this year. This year is just that you would never expect to hit $1,000. Like what was it? What was Thundercats? Thundercats at $1,000 book. Like who would have a Thundercats number is a $2 book at a 9.8.
All the 80s cartoons, man.
Yeah.
Can the same be said of the He-Man book?
yes.
Can the same be said?
The man
I
with the
don't follow He-Man.
loincloth.
How much He-Man at it now? Right now.
$2,000?
Yeah,
For
9.8.
9.8.
9.8.
So do you think He-Man and Thundercats are on the same level?
Personally, I think that He-Man's a little bit bigger. That's just me, though.
Me too. That's what I'm saying is like I don't see how are equal almost to the value.
Yeah, man. I'm a big He-Man guy,
here's
man.
my question.
Obviously,
Here's my question.
it's always been one of those He-Man. If you're Thundercats or He-Man, you know what I mean. It's either one or the other. It just depends on which cartoon you got or what ditch day you had or whatever it was. You know what I mean. There's no wrong or right answer. What you grew up.
So are we saying that people are who is buying this $2,000 book in a 9.8 in this character in the lion's cloth that is all has to do with nostalgia of
It is.
childhood?
Look at GI Joe 9.8s. Look at Transformers 9.8s. Those went up. especially the GI Joe number.
Those didn't even have anything to do with the Snake
had
Eyes
that.
movie coming out, bro.
Bro, I'm
That
waiting
one
for
has to do with
Silver
nostalgia.
Hornet hit 2000. I got I have a box of them backs. Hey, I don't flip, but I'll be flipping them bitches like.
Today's
Nah,
the
don't worry.
day.
The Silverhawks will go up there too, man.
They don't have
already started
their
going
day.
up. Yeah, they already started going up in price on Silverhawks. Go look it up. Yeah, shit to the. You used to be able to get them shit for $1. Yeah, they're up there now.
That's how I got some.
Yeah.
Me
I'm
and
a big
Doom was
Silverhawks
talking
guy.
about this a while ago about the nostalgia stuff, and yes, those are coming on the rise, man. If you pay attention to it, yeah, talking about it, Masters of the Universe. Who the hell would have thought of Thundercats at a 9.8 going for what it's going for? It's the Transformers, GI Joes, and all that stuff. So now we're at well, right now we're at the stage where. Why is this book going up for us? For at a 9.8? It's like right now with this pandemic that happened, everybody got fuck you money. That's what it looks like. And they spending all that fuck you money on books.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A lot of people were just kind of staying home and just kind of reflecting off what their childhood was and whatnot. And, a lot of people got back into collecting. And first thing to mind is like, hey, what you grew up with.
Yeah.
That nostalgia comes into play. And then the age of the actual individual, right? So He-Man's was out in the 80s. So it put that individual somewhere between 35 and 45. They have a little more disposable income. So, it all plays out, man. It's all right.
Yeah, I saw Thundercats about 2 months ago, $30 and a $40, and I didn't want to pull the trigger. And then know like less than a week later that trailer comes out and that shit on the same comic shop for wall books for like 100 and 150, and they were 30 and 40, and one of them was like probably like was a little beat up, but it was still good, but the other one was like near mint. And I was
even
like,
that Voltron, I was like the Voltron #1, like
Voltron.
that used to be a $5 book. Not even that. I mean, it was just like I used to find them in bins all the time. Just
that Power
pass
Ranger
them right
book,
by.
that Power Ranger book, the Sentai or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That book is you're crazy. Nobody expected these type of nostalgia
Yeah.
books to go like that. And
Ooh, that book
But
was like
but
3
why
racks, bro.
here's the thing is that did we ever thought about getting those characters when we were starting
Bought them
collecting?
because of the shit that I like, bro.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have my first He-Man, Thundercats, and all that because that's what I grew up on.
Interesting.
I'm with
Not me, bro.
Thorough and
Not me.
because
See, my whole thing is when I first started, it was just to a point where to start reading the comic books, DC books, to all that, and
You know what else I got, Dave? I got freaking Captain Planet. I got fucking Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. I got all that stuff, man. That's what I grew up on. So all that
Interesting.
nostalgic stuff, believe it or not, I picked it up because I love that stuff. I grew up with it.
Rom,
That's how-
look at Rom. It's gonna have
Yo.
his day, bro.
I'm sure, man. Even with the Eternals and all that shit.
Yo, but yo, Dave.
yo,
It's funny how you keep shitting on DC, but you have that highlighted for so long, and read it, really read it, bro. Really read it.
Listen,
That's all I gotta say.
David's gonna have a DC logo hat by next year. Watch.
Hey, mind you, a year from now he's gonna have a topic about why I miss DC.
no, seriously, guys. I talk shit about DC right now, but the thing is, this is one of the greatest read that I ever had, man.
Hush.
One of the best.
Yeah,
One
that's
of the
a good
best.
story.
It's a really great story. And the funny thing is, I just finished reading this here, Mad Love.
Mad love. Okay.
It was a really good read as well.
Look like you
And,
got mad love for DC now, sucker.
He got mad
Yeah,
love.
no, but the thing is,
He's hiding.
That's one of the best Batman
New
storylines.
52, you know?
Yo, you didn't see what the Doom said earlier, Dave? He's like,
What?
it's Pride Month, so you should come out the closet with
Yeah,
all
yeah.
your DC books. Right?
Yeah.
Dave's spreading misinformation. He wants to drive the price down.
Exactly.
Don't sleep on DC, Dave. That's what I'm saying.
No,
man.
no, I'm not. You know what? When it comes to certain books, I like to keep it, but it's just to a point. It's very frustrating to a point where DC has the most deepest and the most historical characters in their book. I mean, but still at the point where they can't get their shit straight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem that you say right there. Once they get that shit straight, though, Dave, dude, look at prime example that how Disney was thinking about buying them last month or
And
something like that.
That'd be crazy. That would
You know
be
what I
crazy.
mean?
DC is starting off already on the right foot, bro. Remember Discovery Channel? They just bought a big ass fucking portion of friggin' AT&T and all that shit because AT&T was in freaking crazy debt, so they had to come in there to show some relief. And those guys behind Discovery, they're putting out quality shit. So now that they're in there, Warner Brothers got kind of kicked to the curb, and you're gonna have these guys from Discovery. They're gonna trust me. They're gonna know about their investment. This is why I tell people, pick up your DC stuff. Tim Sinkovich is saying it. Joke is saying it. Pick up all your DC stuff now.
You know what? I shouldn't be saying it. Don't buy it so I could buy the shit. Don't buy it, Dave.
For real. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, DC is great books to buy.
yeah. Well,
Can I?
hopefully they get this thing straight because I don't know. I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels that talk about Snyderverse versus Warner Brother and Discovery, and as to a point where it should be the very simplest thing, And they, like I said, they have the most historical character: Wonder Woman, Batman, Flash. If they start with those three characters and build your thing around them, and you got yourself a whole universe that opens up so much possibilities.
Yeah, and don't forget about continuity, right? Because the continuity is the one that
continuity
kind of puts all the pieces together and makes it one universe. And it's too often when they've just strayed away from that, and it's a one and done type of movies. And some of them have been good, you know what I mean? But I think we're kind of spoiled in the sense that Disney Plus makes it a really good continuity to then give it to Marvel in their films to kind of just go with it as well. So one big continuity for me just makes a lot of sense, and it gets frustrating to not have that in the DC world, especially to your point, Dave, with all the historic characters that are out there.
Well, here's the thing when it comes to DC. A lot of the DC characters, especially when it comes to first appearances, I'm not the richest man, but I'm priced the fuck out of like all them bitches.
Yeah. I think
are we talking about 80s? Are we talking about 90s, 70s, 60s? I mean,
well, we're definitely not talking about golden age.
When we're talking about first appearances, especially with, let's say DC goes into the MCU type universe, right? We're going to be hearing first Silver Age appearance, first Bronze Age appearance, first Copper Age, modern, because, those books, even at Silver Age, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but the last attainable first appearance would have been Poison Ivy and from the 60s. And then you go into, Silver Age Catwoman, Silver Age this, Silver Age that. But the true first appearance that was attainable, I don't know if it is now, but I'm just thinking back then was Poison Ivy.
Yes, things are going up, man. They're going up. You look at. To be honest with you, I feel like as far as villains, DC always, for some odd reason, retains their value on villains. I don't see that as much in Marvel. I know people be like, "Oh, what about Thanos?" And listen, that Iron Man 55 went like this and just
that's your Star Wars.
Right after the movies were done, Thanos was nowhere to be seen. So, but you look at Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, Riddler, all these characters in DC, man. Always keeps going up. I mean, the freaking first Ra's al Ghul, that fucking book is over $1,000 now. That book was nowhere near.
Are you serious?
Fuck yeah, dude.
$1,000 for a first Ra's al Ghul? I got that book.
Go check
you
it
ain't
out.
got that book. You ain't got that book, man. I got that book.
Well, you know what's funny is 70s DC in the art, in the cover. There's not a whole lot of value, if I remember right, as far as first appearances in the 70s. But the value came from the artist or creator, right? Or the artist was what made in one of the books I could think of from the top of my head would be Batman 227, right? Which homage to the old, what is it, detective?
I got that book too.
Yeah. So
2 for 2, brother. 2 for 2.
So it now because the Silver Age is you pretty priced out really quick, and then the whole first appearance in Bronze is going to start being priced out because what Neil Adams. Neil Adams is pretty much the lead 2 guy or artist when it came to first Silver Age, right? If I remember right, he did Scarecrow. He did Two-Face. He did Joker was like Bronze Age type deal. That's a funny book. That's always that title always changes, but it's the first Joker maniacal whatever.
Yeah.
So if you don't have those books, those are the books that you should be getting.
Yes, I agree, bro. I agree.
Big time.
Because
you hear that, David?
I want to say what. What's that?
I heard.
Can I take a slightly off path for a second?
Look, I got a first appearance of Batman in modern age. But
It's always crazy.
My man wanted to say something though about
Batman New 52. Batman #1 and the New 52.
Yeah.
That book it's going to sound weird, but if you go by volumes, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, up, that book is actually underrated to the general volume 2 consensus. You know what I'm saying? It's just the million print because it was the first Batman in like 60 years or some shit like that. If you look at New 52 volume 2, historically that's a lot more expensive, but because of the mass amount of printings and
but what happened? What happened when Batman Rebirth #1 came out? That New 52 book went kind of down a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, talking about the Rebirth Batman, what the hell happened to Gotham Girl, man?
I don't know. I thought those were great characters, bro. Gotham Boy, Gotham Girl,
yeah, the Gotham Girl. She was an awesome character, but is she still in the continuity?
I'm with James, man. King of the Golden.
You never know what the hell they do now. I mean, especially with James Tynion, at the helms of freaking pretty much Batman everything. I wouldn't be surprised that dude comes and brings that character back because that's usually what?
What's that?
Female Robin that came out like last year, the year before last. The cover had Flashpoint Batman and the female. Whatever happened?
Yeah, that's the one that you're talking about.
Oh,
those were great characters, and they I don't know, they just kind of killed them out of there. I think after Snyder fell off, and all of a sudden it went down. Like I said, you can never wear it out. It's the same reason too why we were just talking about old and new collectors, right? You got the old collectors who were technically purists. You got the ones that accept the fact that shit is changing. He was talking about Batman Beyond. Listen, a lot of people were so against that, even just hearing the cartoon even coming out back in the days, because they were like, ain't nobody taking over Bruce Wayne. What the hell is this? They still put out Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond came out, became a cult classic instantly. Fucking Marvel didn't even know what the hell to put up against them, and they came out with Spider-Man Unlimited. Spider-Man Unlimited was not the greatest. So all these little things, man, you got to keep up with the times. That's why some folks are upset, like with James Tynion bringing all these brand new characters. They came through. Everybody's like, oh shit, okay. Now look at the character Clown Hunter. Look how many people are like, damn, yo, I love this character. And now Clown Hunter could end up becoming a major player in freaking Batman lore. So you got to look at it from all these different aspects. I appreciate that this guy is coming in and creating new characters and not staying with the old same shit continuously. That's why right now, to be honest with you, I consider James Tynion the best writer that there is as far as anything comic books. Because Donny Cates, a lot of people argue and say, oh, Donny Cates is the greatest. fucking Donnie Cates can't finish, man. I said I want to send fucking one of those gram things to the door. I'm gonna send Jenna Jameson to his house and show him how to finish, because the fucking guy can never fucking finish a story. The only story that guy ever finished right was God Country, because that was like his own personal shit. So he went through some personal stuff, and he wrote the shit out of that book. And look at it now. What happens? You get an alert. Now all of a sudden, God Country is being written right now for the big screen. They have a writer. They have all this stuff that's in the works. So that's my thing right now. For me, James Tonnen's knocking shit out of the park. He's writing Something's Killing the Children. Fucking badass damn book. And if you've never read it yet, Department of Truth, I mean, he's killing it, dude. Like, in all honesty. But again, yeah, like I said, Donnie Cates, you know what Donnie Cates is great at? I just said it. He knows how to use his social media platform to his advantage. He fucking pumps the shit out of everything on Twitter. That guy will be tweeting even during his fucking vacation. And all of a sudden, he's like, right now, with the fucking Hulk, I just brought this shit up too. Yeah. All I said, I was like, how much angrier and how much stronger could you fucking make the Hulk right now? Are you just gonna fucking make this motherfucker like consume the whole universe and shit? Like that was my thing. How much better could you fucking make the Hulk right now?
Hey, you know what Donnie Cates gonna do with Hulk? He's gonna make Cosmic Hulk. That's how he did with Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yo, listen. I'm gonna take this time to give my man right here go ahead, take the talk, man. Talk. Because my man wanted to say something a half hour ago, and y'all fools didn't let him talk, man. So go ahead,
like 8:30, no?
No, I was going to take us off course a little bit, but it had to do with the DC and the Marvel thing. Disney has Marvel. I'm correct in saying that they do not have DC yet, right?
No.
Okay, so the question for everyone is that would you be interested? I would, but would you be interested in seeing a DC Marvel, if Disney acquires DC, a Disney Marvel crossover film?
No.
Ooh, I have that book. It's called.
It's too early for
No,
DC.
no.
DC still hasn't created a lot of stuff yet.
I have that book called X-Men. What? X-Men and Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I think it's true.
Because I have the
maybe
book.
eventually, once the worlds are built and that continuity is there between the two, and there's a purpose behind it on screen, then yeah, if there's a chance and opportunity for that story to be told, possibly. But
This
right
was a
now,
wild
I
book.
wouldn't want to see it.
This was a wild book. I mean, when I read this, it was like awesome.
Yeah, you had plenty of crossovers back then, man. They don't do them no more. I know that you had the Batman and Spawn, even that. You know, that one was good. You had Batman and Spider-Man crossover. You know what I mean? All that, you know?
You know what's the funny thing is? When they had a Batman and Hulk crossover, what the hell Batman's thinking, man?
Oh, the Treasury? The Treasury?
Bane.
Yeah, I got that. That's one of my favorite covers.
What is wrong with Bruce Wayne trying to fight with the Hulk?
He did it with the Justice League, man. He's prepared.
The same way a grown ass man want to wear that Spider-Man hat. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, like Spider. It's just some of this crossover is so stupid. I mean, I look at the cover, like there's no way that Bruce Wayne's gonna do anything to the Hulk. I just don't know.
Listen,
I hope
if Batman
They work together.
Yeah, if Batman can make shark repellent, he can make Hulk repellent, man. Mark my words. Right? Nah.
I don't know, man. Do we really want to see the crossover from DC versus Marvel? Do we really want to see it?
In books, yes. In a movie,
No. Let's say MCU versus DCEU. Like, do we really want to see this crossover in live action movie?
I think it'd be wild. I think it would be wild.
And
it'll be great fan service with a whole bunch of legal teams and lawyers involved. This wants to lose against another publication.
No. If Disney acquired DC and there was like a standalone film, kind of like Joker was its own thing.
I
don't know.
guess.
Better be a trilogy because
It better be a first up, and then everybody goes, fights in the same team because you're gonna have a whole lot of backlash on.
They should just
Wow.
make it a TV show and just fucking just make it a series.
Just milk
It's gonna
it.
be long as fuck.
Right? Just milk it. That's it.
Yeah, put it on the CW, right?
You know, HBO Max. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, going back to what we discussed about how you got Scott Snyder used to do Batman, do great reading. He did he did some great job with Batman. You got James Tinian, writing the Something is Killing the Children, along with Department of Truth. Now he came out with a book called Nice House on the Lake.
The house. Yeah.
Did you read it, David?
No, I haven't got the book yet. I haven't had the chance to read the book yet because it has not read. But definitely, that is something that I want to read. I think James Tinian. I think he does a really, really great job with this horror type of murder kind of mystery kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to
The next
that.
Bernie Wrightson, baby.
Hey, talk about James Tinian. Hey, you got my free book, Gomez? Enter the House of Slaughter. Free comic book.
They ain't coming out till next
Come out
month.
to August.
What?
Yeah, buddy. Come on.
That's fucked up, man.
August is free comic book day. That's when everybody's gonna go nuts because then they also had the preview for freaking Venom, the new Venom by Ewing. So that's gonna be the other book that everybody's gonna be going after now.
Funny how they swapped, right? Ewing and Cates. Yeah, on books.
Or that Kate team writing his crossover no more. It's supposed to be his.
Oh yeah, because Zdarsky, wrote one issue, right?
Fucking Chip.
Supposedly. Yeah.
See, Chip Zdarsky, he's writing fire with Daredevil, bro. He's killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it.
I just want, honestly speaking, listen, man. I'm both. I like Marvel and DC. In the whatever, it don't matter.
Same here.
But when it comes to Spider-Man, I think Nick Spencer is already time for him to just
He needs to bounce.
retire. He needs to bounce because that ASM title hasn't been good since I can't even remember.
Man, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man read wasn't good all the way through like early 1990s. I swear to God, man. When Dan Slott, or was it Dan Slott?
Dan Slott.
Dan Slott. Those damn Slott. I swear to God, that guy.
Slot.
That damn Slott. I swear to God, he ruined Spider-Man, man. When he came with that saga, that clone saga. It's like, why do you need to clone anybody?
Everybody hated that thing, man. Everybody.
Yeah, but guess what? But they're doing the same thing with Miles Morales with the Clone Saga, and that's one of the worst read I ever had, man. I'm so mad.
Pick up the Clone Sagas, yo. They're gonna be feeding off of Miles Morales' Clone Saga.
Wow. Do you guys like Ice Cream Man?
I know Broski. That's Broski's book.
I think it's alright.
That's Gomez. Gomez loves.
Now, that's my worst nightmare, man. Ice Cream Man.
Which one? What are you talking about?
Why you gotta get up on the camera, man? Like, it's about Ice Cream Man. Like if you collect it.
That's good shit, bro. Don't be pussy.
Well, hey, I think we pretty much cover our topics, and I just want to thank all of you guys for making the times. I know back in the East Coast it's about way past 1 o'clock. Mike, Thorough, Martian, and also you, Tito. Thanks for making the time and being on the panel, man. I really appreciate it, and definitely I'm gonna hit you guys up again next month, and hopefully that we won't have so much of a nerdy topic to conversation, but I think we'll just talk about more of things that we really want to talk about. Is what's up, Tito?
So I meant to ask, but you threw me off because you said my mic was echoing. Actually, not you, but Keelan, go in the comments.
It's been all day, bro.
Yeah, there's just a jab, but he said he was getting tired of seeing these.
What? He's getting tired of what?
He was getting tired of watching and seeing these come up. Do you guys feel the same way? Is it saturated? Has it been? Are you desensed to it? Have you been jaded of seeing the books?
I don't get it.
I cat. Really? Hear me? You my man?
Yeah, I can't. What's going on, man?
Yeah, you were echoing a lot,
Yeah,
Tito.
you was
When you were
echoing,
asking
Tito.
your question.
Yeah, no, you're echoing, Tito.
Big damn time, bro. Ski.
Holy shit!
Love
No, seriously, Tito. When you went off the panel for about a good like 5 minutes or so, we did not have any echo. Actually,
Tito, you're
doing
using
okay.
your phone or computer?
Both.
Well, I'm over here trying to help out Tito, fucking broski's ass. Oh yeah.
I wanted to hear that question, bro. I wanted to hear what he was saying.
Yeah, I know. I was interested to hear what he had to say.
Do you
What
have
was the
your
question?
YouTube stream muted?
No, I don't have anything. There's some back.
It's on his phone. Phones usually they don't.
Okay, yeah. If you're on your phone, you need to get headphones. Because if you're using the mic on the phone itself, it starts to echo like crazy on streaming.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta get headphones.
There you go.
Where the fuck is the headphone jack on this thing?
I don't know.
On the
Man, you
bottom
gotta
next to
figure
the
that
phone,
out.
bro.
I don't even know what's going on.
There goes your old school collector right there.
Old school collector.
Okay,
I
old
was
man.
about to say that.
Old man Tito.
You gotta stop
You know what we're
using
gonna
the
get?
flip
You know what
phone.
we're gonna? You know what I'm gonna get you for Christmas? A whole set of earpiece, man.
Oh shit!
Love it.
All right, guys. Hey, like I said, hey, thank you guys for being on. I think we still got like 14 people watching. I think you guys want to say something before we go?
Yeah, man. Appreciate the invite, man. Like always, man. I wish Doom was here. You know, because I know this topic. So he brought up one of his topics. You know, and he would have been good on this panel too. But we understand, man. You on vacation, brother. Enjoy it. I don't know how you're gonna go on vacation from Hawaii to where the fuck are you gonna go? You know what I mean?
From Hawaii to Hawaii. From Hawaii to Hawaii.
Okay.
I'm going from this island to that one.
Island hopping.
From one island to another island.
Oh man. So, yeah.
Alex, you want to say anything before you say goodbye?
Always buy two.
Always buy two.
There you go. Buy two, all right, guys.
Gomez?
Yeah, same. Always buy 2 or 3 if you can. You already know my shit.
Next person say 304. How about that? There you go.
Thanks for the invite.
All right.
Play up.
Tito? You want to say anything?
He put his question in the chat.
Okay.
You can read what he's asking.
Word, host. Go read it. Read it now, host.
Oh,
Let's go.
Echo.
Oh, man.
He even echoed in the chat. You know?
Oh, geez.
He typed it twice. Oh, shit.
Oh man.
Oh, my
All right,
goodness.
Martian, David, you have anything to say before you say goodbye?
Hey man, thanks for the invite, man. Looking forward to the next comic talk, man. Great topics, obviously. Good panel here, so glad to be part of it.
Yes.
Anything you want to close up?
Nothing, man. Yo, appreciate the invite, David, man. Glad to finally be able to hop on the channel here. And yo, I'm gonna read it because the host is horrible. Damn it, he don't want to read it. But Tito was asking, do you guys think that all the 50s? Hold on. So do you think with all the 50s that are out, talking about the top 50s, right, Tito?
Yes.
All right. He says, do you think you guys have been jaded or desensitized by them?
I love it.
I like it.
I love it.
I like it.
I like watching them move.
I did one like last year. I feel like I didn't really improve my collection from last year to this year to make another 50. So that's why I didn't participate in this one. So if you want to see my top 50, go back to last year's video.
Man, I
That's
love
it.
this top 50. You know why? I get to see a lot of people, their top books, and it just drives me that I want those books myself.
You know what I like is like the fact that
It's
you do
peer
top
pressure.
50. They explain how they got there or obtained the book. That's what I like to enjoy more than what the book is. I like to know what the book, how you obtain it, and the story behind it. That's just me. I don't give a shit about the book.
Bro, that's an hour and a half,
I'm concerned about the
50
person,
fucking
how they
video, bro.
obtained it. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy. Like I said, I enjoy the top 50s, man. Keep bringing them up, man. I want to see these new collectors, man. These new people in the community. Make them videos, man. And show your top 50s, man. And that'd be awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like looking at people's collection.
All DC
It
futures
inspires me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, like for me, I like them and I hate them at the same time. I like them on the sense of, I get to see everybody's collection, what everybody's collecting. But then I hate them because Martian Comic Hunter, Tito, Joker, Epicurean, Gomez, and David will show me a fucking book. And then I'm like, these motherfuckers, that shit looks dope. Now I gotta go buy it. I ain't trying to fucking buy no more shit. So yeah, that's my hate portion of the top 50.
FOMO's gonna get you, man. That FOMO will always get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't care what
Yes.
nobody says. Everybody suffers from FOMO somehow,
Yeah.
some way, bro.
There's no
Everybody,
vaccine
baby.
for FOMO.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Once again, thanks again, guys. We're gonna end this show. It's been about 2 hours now. So once again, next month, once a month, I'm gonna invite all you guys again. Like I said, I'm not gonna have such a nerdy topic. We're gonna talk about a little bit more that is fun, that we can have fun with. So,
Fun, bro.
so hopefully that you'll go a little bit more smoother. Tito, get yourself a goddamn earpiece,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm Mike.
All right, guys.
He's gonna show up like a professional podcaster next time.
Yeah, hope so. Hope so. All right,
Have a
till
little
next
mic
time.
arm.
Aloha, mahalos, and until next time, shoot.
Yeah.